there was no doubt a lot of students didn't get the help they needed because the teacher was just too busy doing all things. And it was amazing how they did it. And but they did it. They did it.
Would everybody have gone on to high school, or would some have stopped at grade 8 and gone into working somewhere?
Not the ones that were at our school. That did happen at schools. We all went to Midland High School, the ones from the, but a lot of them didn't last too long, maybe a couple of years or.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get out. I wanted to stay there. That was the most fun I had in my life at high school.
When you're in the Vasey school, were there competitions with other one-room schools?
Oh yeah, like Bob, you interviewed Bob Widdison, we used to play ball against. They'd bring their ball team up to Vasey and we'd take our team down there and play ball. And that's the only thing I can remember. There was no basketball back then or anything, just baseball, like softball, which got pretty competitive in those years. It got really competitive, yeah.
And no physical education, it was what you did at recess.
Yeah, and at noon hour, and it was pretty rugged sometimes like, and other than boxing gloves, see, our teacher lived right across from the school, and she went home for lunch. Imagine that today. There was no supervision at all. So the older boys and older girls had to supervise the younger ones. Well, there'd be always fights break out. And there was boxing gloves from a bunch of the guys before us. They boxed. So we had these boxing gloves, and that's how we settled the fights. We'd put them out in the cloakroom, and we'd have referees, and we'd get the bell. And they'd flail at one another until they got good and tired. It was like, how could you lose, eh? Like, we settled the things before the teacher got back to school. And they were all a little red, and she knew what was going on. I mean, you know what's going on. They weren't that dumb, but she said, hey, they settled it. And it worked out.
Yeah. So you started in high school, and what was the name of the high school at that point?
It was Midland Penetang District High School. And there was all the people from Penetang, students in Midland and the surrounding area, just like it said, district. And that was a frightful experience the first day. All those classrooms and going by bus, but we got onto it, yeah.
And sports that you played in high school?
Only football. And I didn't play that. I was too light. The first time I tried out, I wasn't heavy enough, but they said, keep coming back. So I did, and I finally made the team. And in grade 10, I grew. I was really short until grade 10, and I grew, and I come back, played 11, 12, and then 13, 2 years. I spent 2 years in 13, so I played 4 years football. That was lots of fun, yeah.
So, because you liked it so much, you came back the next year.
That's what I tell everybody. I was supposed to I got 2 papers the first year, two credits, and I got 2 credits the next year. So I thought I needed 8 credits, so I thought it would be 4 years of football. But other people had other ideas. The bush.
I understand one year you were named football king. What was that about?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that. It was an honor, but you could have given that to any one of those football players on that team. They, in the Barrie, really all the area, they only scored 3 points against us all year. So you knew there were a lot of guys doing a lot of work. And I felt guilty really taking it from some of the guys. They all could have got it. I had some big linemen there and the coach, Doug Swales, and you'd know him. He had the wildest plays, and I think he felt pretty at ease with us because we had a lot of fun, and there was the Dubos and the Popples, and you know their characters. So anyway, he'd invent plays, and he had this one, and he called me Gertie, so it was Gertie's ball left and Gertie's ball right. So after I got out of school, and I was out in Waverley one day, and the young lad there, this is about 4 years after I was out of school, he said, I'm playing football. I knew him at high school. I said, oh, that's good. Yeah, he says, there's this weird play they got. It's called Gertie's Ball. Oh, I said, so I told him how it went. I don't remember now. But, how'd you know how it went? I said, I'm Gertie. He said, you are not. So he went and checked. Yeah, that was really funny to listen to him tell that play, because Swales would get the weirdest plays you ever saw, and they'd work. And of course, we'd all want them to work, so we tried hard for him. He was a good coach. I was one of the best. Yeah.
And while in high school, you were a cadet. Were you in the cadet program?
Yeah, you would remember too. Joe's Army, we called it. Joe Sundrington. Yeah. And we marched until we couldn't march anymore. Some of them had to march a long time to practice, but it was good for you. It was.
Was the marching during the day or after school?
Well, if you did all right during the day, you didn't have to march after school. But if you were a bit of a bunch of characters, you marched around till almost dark. And there were some that did that. Yeah.
Did you practice on the firing range?
Yeah.
And some people are wondering where the firing range was.
It was underneath the gymnasium, if I remember right. And it was just, it wasn't very high ceiling. And there was a room, a normal room, and then a long cement around it. And I don't know what was at the other end, but you stood up, you went up a few steps and laid down and shot it.
Were there paper targets you shot at? And did they have like a pulley system to bring those back? Yeah.
22, those old, I don't know what they were, Lee Enfield, were they? The 303 with a 22 stock on them and a 22 barrel, and just a single shot. And some of them got pretty good. They liked it.